Hey, I'm the industry.
Hey yo, I'm the academia.
I'm all those businesses that tend on technology.
Whatever. And I'm all those universities, colleges, and vocational training.
I represent the small, medium, and large enterprises that either develop, deploy, or use IT solutions to drive Pakistan's entire economy.
I represent the 90 million youth who are in the education system and all those who you aren't capitalizing on.
Did you say 90 million?
We've got power in numbers and you don't know what to do with us.
We're always looking for fresh grads. How come we can't even find one?
Even if you're looking hard enough, you're not looking long enough or in the right places. You lose interest in even investing in us.
But we don't know who you are. Eh?
Huh?
Wait a second, are we?
Saying the same thing? Yes, yes.
Campus Conversations. Bridging the gap. Log on to www.ciopakistan.com for more details.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Campus Conversations show. My name is Shafaq Tariq and with me today is Mr. Kumail Dehradunwala, who is a part of CIO Campus Conversations at IBA. Assalamu alaikum sir, welcome to the
Walaikum
show.
salam.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you.
The first question that I ask almost everyone, how was your experience at Campus Conversations interacting with the students?
The experience was great. The students were very eager to learn. They're hungry for information about what's going on in the banking industry. But I was disappointed at the same time with our industry, with our education system as a whole. The colleges are not preparing these students correctly. These people were coming in not knowing what banks are offering or what the industry offers as a whole for them. So it was a mixed feeling. I was happy the students came in, I had a chance to talk to them. Sad at the same time, well, they did not have any clue of what banks do.
Right. So what sort of questions did you come across with the students? As in, were they confused about the future? Were they confused about the jobs? Or were they just hungry for a job, or did they want knowledge?
Everything, everything was a combination of everything. First of all, they did not, they were hungry for job, they were looking for positions, but they didn't know what industry target. Basically, the colleges tell them basically there's a service sector where IBM is there and TRG is there. So they know those industries very well and they apply it there. They got software houses they go to. But they don't understand that banks also do technology. Banks have a very large technology infrastructure that we also run. They had an idea that banks only do MISs or reporting, and that's all they had idea of. So to expose them to a technology that banks do, they were very surprised that we do a lot of work, we follow processes. So that was a good part that they understood. But there were only 5 students, and these 5 hopefully will become and tell other people what is the industry holding for them. So it opens up a lot of doors for them because they are exposed to the industry. They know that there are banks out there which are larger than UBL also. There's some national bank is there, Habib Bank is there. So they know that banking is a sector where they can also explore opportunities.
Right. But with everything getting automated, is there still scope for IT grads to come and work in a bank?
It is. The thing is, automation is one thing. Automation is the price. We need to understand we're an industry in Pakistan where some of the banks cannot afford to pay a very large sum of money to foreign vendors. And so that is a constraint that they also follow. So people who graduate with degrees, computer science or programming, they still have a future here. They still have a future. There's a lot of outsourcing what there goes on in the banks also. Banks also do outsourcing. They hire people from the outside. They hire consultants, contractors on duty. So a lot of futures are there for these kind of people. Like IBA has got that business analysis also course, which is a very helpful course because they are a bridge between technology and business. So that also is a good future for students. But I need to make my point very clear that the students are hungry, but their hunger is not being satisfied in the institution they are studying in. This is what they have to understand is our educators are not doing justice to the students, of exposing them to the right areas to concentrate on. They're not being guided as a career path. They're not being told what careers are there to offer them. There's no guidance counselor type concept, or if it's there, it's in a very stage where it's in the shell somewhere. It needs to be brought out. Students can go and get help somewhere. As a mentor, I can help them so much, but they need guidance from school also on a daily basis on what they should be planning for when they're on the final year of studies.
So as a part of the industry, what is your opinion? Why do you think that academia is not providing such counseling to the students, just not the government universities, but even in private universities? Students still complain that we don't have any guidance, we don't have a career counselor. For example, when I was a kid and I used to watch American movies or an American serial or something, there would always be a counselor or maybe even a psychiatrist right there in the school. Over here in Pakistan, in school, we don't have any psychiatrist or a counselor. जब बच्चा क्लास 9 में जाता है उसे पता था या तो I have to do bioscience or I have to do computer science
Right.
or I have to do commerce.
Right.
And that is a time when you just decide what you have to do in future.
Right.
And that is a pretty young age. I mean, at the age of 14, 15, you are under lots of influences.
Correct.
You know, you are all confused. So what should a 15-year-old do? Forget the 18-year-old. I mean, at that point, when you know you're actually forced by either your parents or the society that
Right.
no, you have to become an engineer, no, you have to become a doctor,
Right.
or no, you have to start your own business.
We're creating robots. That's what we
Yes.
we're creating robots. We're creating these things that we have to choose a path when we're young, and we follow this path. If you go from this path, then you got to start all over again. This is how we're creating the education system out here in this country. I've been educated outside, so I can give you from my experiences. It doesn't open up the mind. It tries to create a mechanical instrument that just thinks from the book. It doesn't open mind.
Which is not correct.
It is not correct. I mean, it's the fault of not only the education system but also students also. They also are not inclined towards, like today, you've got access to information on the net. You can go search for anything, but it has to be inspired from within, also from a person coming in that I want to learn. That capability, I guess, is the fault of both the education system out here and the students both, because they also don't get that encouragement from home either. Go research, do something, you know, look at this. If they're not so, I guess it's the fault of the both institutions. You know, the students also at the home and also our educational system, which does not open up minds. Our education system, I'm sorry to be very blunt. When people see this, they're probably going to kill me. But we are a money-making business in education. Education is not a right; it's a privilege. Education should be a right for everybody to have. And in this country, I'm sorry to say, but it becomes a privilege. Only privileged people get education. Other people are left behind somewhere where they have to catch up and catch up, and it's very hard thing to catch up.
And what's the reason behind that? Just because education is so expensive, even doing your matriculation or O levels or A levels, it's so expensive these
It's the
days.
focus is not there. I mean,
It's only for the elite crowd.
the country's focus is not there in education. It's not only that; its country's focus it goes back to the government spending money on education, private institutions helping the educational system. If you look at overseas, you know, private also donors or companies, corporations also sponsor a lot of things within the campuses. You know, so they become part of the university. They become part of the education system. There is some effort here also, but it's not at a level where we can take these masses and say, yes, we need to be educated. This is something that's lacking.
Yeah, but even the educated person is looking for a job. I mean, is there still recession, or are there not jobs out there? Why do we see people just roaming around here and then crying and whining, I don't have a job?
Well, there is some truth. There is some recession. There are some things that are going on, but there are jobs available in the market. I think in the next year or so, things will start improving a lot in the industry, and people will be getting jobs. But jobs are available, selective jobs. The MT programs in the bank I work in, there's a large management training program, so people get hired. People need to know where to go and apply. This is what I'm saying. The colleges don't help them. That each of these banks or the institution offer management training programs. So they should be telling them that they should have dates that this is a schedule for, like United Bank, the date for National Bank training program, interviews, you know. So they should encourage the students to go and apply there, you know, and let them go through the program, because this program is a very good forum for people for coming in, getting introduced to the banking culture, technology and everything at that point.
So what's the duration of the management trainee program, if you could highlight that?
It depends on the institution. Let me say it can last anywhere from a few months to a year, you know. It depends on what program are you following.
Is it something like a co-op kind of a thing?
You will get a chance to go to each of the areas and see, and then you find your fit of what area you like, and you can join that area. Technology is also, National Bank of Pakistan is also starting a technology program where MTs get hired in technology, and they can go through a technology program, and they can also use that forum to go join technology. So opportunities are available, but they have to be told, or people have to be told through campuses. These are opportunities available for people.
Right. So are you reaching out to different universities as well, telling them, because I heard it for the first time that National Bank of Pakistan does have a management training program. So are you reaching out to different universities, or how can the university get in touch with you?
Since I have joined, this is my first few weeks of joining National Bank. I'm saying the
talk
HR is very active. HR is very active in different cities of Pakistan, recruiting people and letting people know that they have a program. I think the university that want to know about these programs should contact HR and get some schedules from them on what is the process and how to get people to apply for the management training programs.
Right. And what about the same question that everyone has? How important is GPA when you graduate, or when you have to work, or even intern, as in when they write in the CV that okay, my GPA is 2.9,
Right.
but I've had a really good background in terms of extracurricular activities, maybe did a lot of internship back during graduation or
Right.
something. So how important is GPA? What role does
Since
that
the
play?
management trade program is a very, very aggressive and very competitive program, GPAs do matter there. It does, because there you can imagine how many students are applying for it, and you know the best will get it. I know the best doesn't mean GPA doesn't mean the best student. It does not. But somehow we have to set some criteria on how to select people. There are interviews in MT programs also. It's not that they don't conduct interviews. There are the interviews. So you not only GPA matters, but also where you're coming from, how you present yourself to the committee. So that also matters. In IT, I would want to change that. I want to make sure it's more qualification than GPA. I would like to make a change in that, but that program will come in later. But in internships, for me, GPA doesn't matter. I want to understand people have the power to think and power to do. If they can show me that, I will have no problems taking a person who's got less GPA.
And what about in terms of technology? There are many students who do extra certificates, maybe extra diplomas or degrees, just to get some experience and just to expose themselves to the knowledge out there. So how good is that? Should a student focus on that as well, along with the degree that he or she has?
There's a little problem out here, which I didn't know. I found out last year that we say the degree matters. Diploma is okay, but diploma cannot, on a scale, if you're trying to grow in a path for success, diploma will not get you there as fast as a degree can. In overseas, it doesn't matter. Let me say, once you have a diploma from a certified institution, you can go anywhere you want. You can become a CIO if you want to. But here, it's a different story. You have to have a degree from a certified institution to become a CIO. So it's a difficult thing, but things will eventually change, because after a certain year, like after first few years of your education and working for a few years, you have enough experience that the degree goes in the background and experience matters most as you are working. That concept is coming here, and hopefully, inshallah, you will see that more and more people with better experience are getting good positions out here.
Right. Also, during the mentor nashtas that you hosted, you had mentioned about changing the mindset of people.
Right.
The mindset of the students, the mindset of the academia as well.
Right.
So, if you could highlight that as well, what exactly did you mean back then? And also, students are confused. How important is a mentoring session for them?
They're hungry for mentorship. Like I said, since they don't get this in the institution, they are hungry for somebody to guide them, to tell them what is out there, what is the career path they should take. So they are hungry for that knowledge, or to get that guidance from a person who can help them. They are hungry. As far as mindset is concerned, it's a very difficult thing. People have, all goes back to them bringing machines out there. We have programmed ourselves so much in so many years since I've graduated 30 years ago, that we are still on the same path. We've created machines. So our mindset is such something that it's very hard for us to think otherwise, to open up ourselves and say there are other ways of doing things also. That's the academia part. They have to come up, because they are the ones who can work with the students on 100% of the time. For 4 years or 5 years, the students in campus. So they have the challenge to find different ways of teaching, different ways of educating people. So they don't think book, but they also think some other things, some other places out there. That's what they should be doing.
Talking about knowledge and the education that's given at the university, do you think that the curriculum at the universities should be changed and made relevant according to what the industry is asking for, or are you satisfied with the curriculum?
Some of it is okay. See, there is some basic education that has to be done. So there's some basic, but when you come down to courses that change the person's life, like engineering, computer science, I think they should tag themselves to an institution. Because I had a plan where I said, okay, I will take them, the final year students, I'll give them a project, real project that I am doing. I'll give them a project and I'll say, this is the project you have to do. I'll teach them the software and I'll say, you do this project. And I'll work with the institution and say, this is the project they'll finish. This is what the guidelines are. This is what they will achieve. And if they achieve this, you can give them this grade. This thing will become very successful because I'm getting something out of it, and the person is getting real-time experience in developing software or analysis, whatever they do. So this is something I think will help them in achieving their career objective and understanding how different things work in an organization.
Right. There are people like you who are willing to help the students, but do you see your other peers or maybe your other colleagues who are as willing like you to spend time with these students, to mentor, to guide them, to give them real life projects, or are they too scared to give these little kids the project?
No, I think they're ready. I think if you approach them, I think you'll find a lot of people who'll be willing to give their time,
Right.
maybe once a month, once a week. There'll be a lot of people out there who'll be giving them time, but they just need to be approached. That's all.
Right. Okay, in the end, any 5 tips that you would like to give to the students when they're looking for a job or when they're preparing themselves for the professional life out there?
Definitely. I mean, so first of all, is be positive. You will face a lot of difficulties. You will face a lot of adversities. And always, the glass is half full. Be positive. Always find a positive in the negative that you face. So that way, you will make sure that you will always be up and not get down. I mean, say educate yourself. Education means not only doing book education, but learn other things also out there. There are publications, there's internet, there's something out there. So you learn how to research and be ready for the interview. A lot of people come in and sometimes they're not ready because they don't know the technology or they don't know about the company. So when you go for an interview, be ready for that. I mean, be understanding. I'm saying always. Let me say when you come for an interview, try to figure out. I mean, say don't try to speak too much. That is what person does. Try to try to impress me or try to impress anybody sitting out there. They try to speak too much. So that gives them away right away. They're nervous. Try to gauge the person. Try to understand where you're going to, who you're meeting. Try to understand that and study hard. I mean, say because out here the environment is difficult. You have to be the best in not only best in education as GPA, but also the best in all-round, well-rounded person. You have to be a well-rounded person. You have to do that. And lastly, but not least, like I said again, same thing. Be positive.
Right.
Be positive. The positive attitude you have, you not only give a positive vibe to the person you're dealing with, but also good for you also in your future.
And it also reflects on your work as well if you're
Definitely.
positive.
Definitely. I'm saying find a way out. Like I said, think out of the box. I keep telling people that with me, don't just the technology. The solutions are limitless, and you can find any solution. Don't say there's no solution. I don't buy that idea. There's no solution. There's always a solution. Maybe it's not technology, it's something else. There's a solution out there, but you have to find it. It is upon you to use what's up here to come up with a solution. We all have been given the power to think, power to do things. It's how we utilize our power and how we utilize our things that are given to us to be the best.
Right. Thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of this episode of Campus Conversations. In a nutshell, to sum up the entire conversation, Mr. Dehradunwala had something really interesting to share with us. Be positive. There are many opportunities out there. You just need to go and grab them. And just stay focused and have confidence in yourself and in the potential that you have. Till then, this is Shafaq Tariq signing out.